Hello everybody, today we'll be continuing to take a look at a scenario where civilization starts over. We are now on the 5th episode of the series, and in the last episode, can't fully remember, but I'm pretty sure we saw the creation of a new nation here that spread off from the Ukrainians, because they're like mean to the people. We saw some expansion inside of Europe, as well as a new Irish nation. Nothing really happened in the Americas, and the biggest event of the video was the war between Korea and the Chinese starting again, which is really bad because they are on opposite military alliances. They both declared war on each other, which means the Circle and Square Alliance are now at war. This war is known as the Great Asian War. Now, if y'all do enjoy this video, please make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell, and we can go ahead and start with today's episode. Now, we're going to be starting with the fighting over here, where Chinese troops are going to continue to head into Korean territory. And actually, first, I'm going to turn on major cities. There we go. So they're going to head into Korean territory. Oh, what the heck? It's got a notification in my... I don't want to update WinZip. Sorry. They will also continue to head in through the north, as well as heading... Oh, hey, Muffin. What are you doing? As well as heading through the northern areas of Korea, but mainly focusing down here as this is where the most economically prosperous areas are. However, the Koreans are not terrible, as they will also invade into Chinese territory, heading into this little exclave of theirs, as well as mainly focusing on the northern regions where there's not as much population, but there's a lot more resources which could very help them out. Now we're going to be heading to the Mesopotamians and the blue team, where the Mesopotamians are actually going to be able to be the first to invade them. And if I can find a good color for this. Alright, sorry about that, but the pink team will actually be able to head into blue team territory first, through this area. I don't know what religion. Okay, so it is actually blue team religion that the pink team has a lot, but they will also be able to head down inside of here, where the blue team has the least amount of defenses at. However, there will be some more luck for the square team, as the green team will be able to invade into red team territory, as well the red team is preoccupied with the purple team at the current second. And the red team is invading into purple team territory, as they are a lot stronger than the purple team. And now that I think about it, we should do a power rankings for these nations. I'd say the strongest is pretty close, but I'll give it to the red team, just barely though, as the blue team is number 2. I'll give number 3 to Korea, as they have won against China before, but China will be number 4. Number 5, I'll give it to Mesopotamia. 6, I'll give it to South China. 7, I'll give it to the green team. And the weakest of all of them is the purple team. So yeah, very quick ranking of these nations. And we can get back to the fighting. No? What the heck? We're gonna see South Chinese forces as well as red team forces begin to invade into China, as they are mainly focusing on the Koreans, as that is the biggest threat, as they're slightly stronger than them. And I mean, like, they have like serious beef with them. They really don't like each other. But now, heading back to this front line, we are going to continue to see China manage to, well, basically just take over the entire front line down here. But not, truly, because the Koreans will take over their exclave as well as invade into this as well. But also invade into Chinese territory up here. So it is a very back and forth front line, and they have very different, focuses. We actually do see the Koreans make a little we do see the Koreans make a tiny landing inside of this little peninsula, but China will immediately kick them out. But that did alleviate some forces for Korea to go ahead and do that. Like, push back a little bit. Not too much, though. And due to the blue team fighting a two-front war, the blue team is fighting a two-front war right now. And as one of the sides is the strongest nation in the world, and the 5th strongest nation in the world, they are mainly focusing on this front line instead of this front line, so the pink team will be able to capture the old capital city of the Iranian Persian nation, just continuing to head into the area until they eventually reach a wall of, like, not literally a wall, but like a huge amount of blue team forces, but they will also manage to very quickly head down the coastline inside of the blue team's colony inside of Oman and the UAE. Now we're going to see red team forces begin to push back up against the green team as well. They are very strong. They are the strongest nation in the world. Not too far ahead of the blue team though. And eventually the green team with blue team support will be able to push back a little bit. Not too much though. And the red team is still winning on this front line. Well, no, the green team is. What am I saying? But the red team has just kicked out the purple team from the mainland. And now they are beginning an invasion over here. But it's actually not the red team doing that. It's going to be the purple team. As the purple team has been waiting for this for a very long time. And they're going to very rapidly invade into Borneo. As let me check the religion. Is it? It's not, but I feel like it should be. Mainly light red religion. But yeah, they managed to kick the purple team out of the mainland, but the purple team is very rapidly invading into the mainland of, Borneo. And this is of course because the red team is now focusing on these front lines, as they don't really believe the purple team to be that much of a threat, as they are the weakest nation inside of this war. With them focusing on these front lines, we are going to see them be able to very quickly invade into Lime Team territory, as they want to knock them out of the war with help from Korea to then blitzkrieg into India and then win the war, as that is their strategy. So they are going to get very close to capturing this Chinese city, but not being able to. And well, yeah, the Chinese are losing very heavily on this front line, but that is for a very good reason, as they are now able to very quickly push back the Koreans from this front line up here, as well as invade into Korean territory a lot more, eventually encircling this little piece of Korean troops that is their territory, be able to take it over. The red team is like, uh-oh, shoot. But now the blue team will start to realize how quickly this front line is starting to go bad for them, and they are going to be able to push back against the pink team, specifically inside of Arabia, mainly sticking towards the deserty areas, and encircling a whole bunch of pink team troops and just massacring the population. They will be able to head into the Persian nation, Persian areas a little bit, but not too much, as the pink team has created a pretty strong defense up here. But now, due to the alleviation of troops from the purple team front, the red team is going to be able to push into green team territory, like actually invade into green team territory, if I can get this correct. As they are heading through the north of the territory, mainly sticking towards the Himalayas, there's not as much population up there. Now on this front line, they are still able to push back the Chinese, and they are now getting extremely close to the capital of the Lime team. And they are going to begin to pull out a bunch of troops from the Korean front line to push back against the South Chinese and the red team, which they will successfully do, but not good enough to where they can fully alleviate their capital. And I feel like I can turn off the military alliance layer. This is the military alliances. I'm pretty sure you know it by now. And due to the Lime team having to take out a bunch of troops from Korea, Korea will then be able to push back a bunch of these troops and encircling this once again, leading to a little bit of a push into this exclave. Not too much though, as it is not fully taken over. But they will be able to head into the north, as they pulled most of their troops through the north. Of course, as Mesopotamia only borders the blue team, they are going to be able to push through, as the blue team is starting to send more troops over to the green team to help them out in their front line against the red team. So it is a very back and forth front line over here. We'll just go like this and that, and this and that, and this and that, and that, and that. It's just continuing to do that. But technically it will be a very slight net positive for the pink team. Of course, with the blue team sending more troops over here, they will be able to push back a little bit. Not too much though, as the red team is pushing into here, kick them totally out, and also heading into more Bangladeshi territory, almost cutting the green team into two pieces, which doesn't really matter as the blue team is here. But the purple team is just taking over the entirety of Borneo, and the red team is like, oh, we don't like that. And they're going to begin to pull down some troops, which will let the green team push back a little bit, not too much though. And the red team are going to head back into their old Borneo territory. Not too much though, as the population is starting to like the purple team government over the red team government. Just like the Mesopotamia front line, the Lime team will be able to push in, but get pushed back. And like, it just keeps going back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth. And yet again, there will be a slight net positive for the Square Alliance. Wait, what Circle Alliance, sorry. So right now, it looks like the Square Alliance is going to be losing this war. But we are going to be heading somewhere else, and that is going to be to the Greeks, as they are going to continue to explore around these areas, mainly focusing on the water, as well as heading up here to Thessaloniki a little bit. Not too much though, as they're mainly focusing over here. They managed to discover Crete, don't know how plausible that is, as well as discover Anatolia, which, are they the first? No, they're not the first nation to do that. But they will also take over, they will also take over land, taking over this entire peninsula, as well as taking over Crete. So boom, just a little bit of expansion over here. And we will come back to Europe after this war is over. Well, I don't know about that. We'll have to see. And the pink team is still having a net positive on this front line, as they are pushing the blue team back until eventually they reach this very narrow point where the blue team has set up the strongest defense ever seen in history. And like, the pink team literally cannot move troops through here. Like, they're just like, here's the blue team, here's the pink team. They just like bounce off and bounce off and bounce off and bounce off. And they just cannot break through due to this being so strong. And with them being able to allocate a bunch of troops over here, creating a strong front line, the red team will be able to push into green team territory a lot more, cutting the green team into two different pieces, and even invading into the blue team a little bit, but not too much though, as they are mainly focusing on the green team. Purple team will once again be able to take over all of Borneo, but they will also be able to head into the island of Sumatra a little bit. We are going to see a turning point for the Korean-Chinese front line. That is going to be Hokkaido beginning to invade into Korea and Japan, as well as into Sakhalin, joining the Circle Alliance, joining the Square Alliance against Korea. So the Koreans are going to have to allocate a whole bunch of troops to this front line now, as they were just very rapidly heading into their Japanese territory, as they were not defending this, which will lead to Chinese forces being able to kick out the Koreans from their territory, and they will also begin to invade into Korean territory, completely destroying their front line that they had. And they are just absolutely losing against the Chinese now. And they will actually be able to pull a bunch of troops out of here to help in the South Chinese front line, where they will begin to be able to push back against the Circle Team forces. I don't know why I'm having a hard time with that. And next we see this blue team front line begin to expand throughout pink team territory, heading very rapidly across the territory, but not as much down here, as the pink team is still having a lot of success here, almost completely pushing the blue team out of Arabia, but right to where they can still defend it, just barely though. Heading over here though, the blue team will be able to push the red team out, but the green team is just very heavily faltering. This front line is very bad for the square team, as the red team is just mainly focusing, they're just focusing basically all of their troops on this front line. And due to basically focusing all of their troops into India, the purple team will very quickly be able to take over all of this, as well as the island of Java, all of the red team Javan territory, and begin to march north into Sumatra. Heading back over here, Korea will be able to push back against the Hokkaidans a little bit, if that's how you say it. But they will not be able to push back too much, as they need to mainly focus on this front line, which, the north of their country has just been cut off. And, it's not looking that good for the Koreans up here, as the Chinese are very rapidly beginning to, let's just say, do some pretty not nice things to the population here. And eventually they are all going to try to evacuate, but Lion Team forces will create a blockade, and they will all die out in sea. So, very brutal, but that's just how medieval... Is this medieval? I think it's more of like ancient times, I don't know. Now, yet again, due to the red team focusing basically all of the troops on the Indian front line, the Lion Team will be able to push back against the South Chinese, basically just pushing the South Chinese out of their nation almost fully. Well, they will fully push them out, as we now see them begin to invade into South China. We will even see the purple team take over Taiwan. And now back over here, we're going to see some, stuff happen inside of the pink team, where a new leader is elected, and he doesn't like war, but the population of the pink team loves war, so they are now going to enter a civil war. This is kind of like a dark orange rebellion, mainly appearing inside of the Iranian areas away from the capital, as well as some other rebellions on the front line, well, not front line, but on the Mediterranean coast, with a lot of their population beginning to rebel away here as well. Now the pink team is going to have to start to pull back basically all their troops from this front line. That's actually exactly what they do, as the blue team will be able to invade into pink team territory, as well as in Arabia. Actually, they're doing the best, surprisingly. But yet again, the red team is allocating all of their forces to the Indian front line, completely cutting off the green team from up here, as well as beginning to do their invasion into the blue team, which will look something like this, as they are yet again allocating all their forces to this front line, as they are the strongest nation in the world. But a huge blow to the morale of the red team is that the purple team will be able to take over all of Sumatra to land inside the Malay Peninsula. Eventually, all of Korea's Japanese territory will fall to Hokkaido and rebellions, until eventually the Koreans are forced to surrender over to the Chinese. And now the Koreans are wiped off the map for the first time ever. And the Chinese and the Hokkaidans are going to be able to, push into South Chinese territory. And, they're going to capture two major cities extremely quickly. And, the South Chinese nation is not doing that good, as this island falls to purple team forces. The red team is like, oh crap, we messed up. And they're going to begin to pull back a whole bunch of troops from the Indian front line. And the green team will be able to push back into these areas a lot quicker than before. Heading back over here, the pink team will just completely collapse. So now the blue team can focus all of their forces over here. Now the red team will be able to push back down here, heading into Sumatra, but immediately getting pushed back out as they need to focus up here mainly. But they will keep the purple team out. Fortunately for the Circle Alliance, however, South China has now capitulated over to Chinese forces. Chinese are now beginning a full-on invasion of the red team. And now the red team, seeing this, is going to pull all of their troops out of the Indian front line, letting the green team be able to invade into them, heading through here and mainly stick to the Bengali areas. Oh my god, what was that? We are even going to see the purple team land back inside of their main territory, not being able to capture their capital. But the red team will see this and put a bunch of troops here, and this will lead to them being able to take over all of the Malay Peninsula, basically. Extremely close to Bangkok. We're going to see a rebellion pop up inside of the red team. This will be the Gold Rebellion, as they want to, form their own nation, leave the red team behind. The purple team will be able to take back all of their territory, begin to invade into the red team. Oh, there we go. The green team will take over basically all of this area, the northern Burmese areas, as the Chinese also take over all of this. And eventually, the red team will capitulate over to the rebellion. And the Square Alliance has officially won this war, the Great War of Asia. And now we can look at a peace treaty to this war. And now this is the last time you will ever see the world look like this, as it is about to drastically change. So bring it all in, and now we can look at a peace treaty to the Great War of Asia. Alright, and this is what we see the peace treaty looking like, with two new states being released over here in Mesopotamia, the blue team annexing a bunch of land from Mesopotamia, the green team annexing Bengal, a brand new golden nation being released, and their capital will be right here. Also, I need to create a nation down here, I think. So yeah, we see a Sumatra nation being released with their capital being right here. And the purple team will annex all their old territory and more. And what the heck is going on right here? Okay, that was weird. But let me give this to the gold team. There we go. We see this old North-South Chinese nation being released. But we're just going to call these guys East China and these guys West China. And yet again, there is more stuff going on. What? Okay, and the Chinese will annex all of this from South China. And the purple team will also annex Taiwan. Let's get this. I think I can turn the tolerance back up now, because I forgot to turn off anti-alliance rendering. which really annoys me. The purple team also annexes all of Borneo. Now the lime team will annex a lot of Korean territory, but it's not a Korean-Chinese border if there isn't some exclaves. So we'll also give the blue team a exclave right there. So there we go. Hokkaido will annex this as well as Sakhalin, as well as like a southern Japanese nation being released. And actually, I'm going to give this South Island to, well, China. And yeah, this is the peace treaty to this giant war. And actually, I do need to give these guys a capital city. And yeah, now we actually have that down, but we do need to check the military alliance layer. The Circle Alliance will be disbanded, as you can probably guess. But we will also see the Chinese and the purple team leave. So now it is back to its roots as at just a blue team, green team alliance. So yeah, if you did enjoy this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. I have been recording for almost an hour, so it would really help me out if y'all did that, as I'm trying to hit 2,000 subscribers by August, by like August. So if y'all would, please subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next video.